Hey, how's it going? AR9s and other blowback pistol caliber carbines are some of the most fun guns you can take out to a range trip. They are cheap to shoot, cheap to buy, and recoil way harder than they should considering the caliber they're firing. Straight blowback, also known as simple blowback or mass delayed blowback, is quite literally a bolt in a tube with a spring. This technology has been used in submachine guns since the late 1800s. Seriously, most blowback 9mm pistol caliber carbines recoil more than an overgassed AR in 5.56. So, what are your options if you want to make one recoil less? One solution to reduce recoil is by adding a mechanical delay to the system, such as the roller delay system in an MP5. You could just go buy an MP5, but even the cheap but still quality PTR clones are like $1,500 fucking dollars for a 9mm PCC. The same thing for 308 goes for $500 less. Why in God's name is it so expensive? It's because the MP5 is so heavily romanticized, of course, and they know people will pay for that extreme markup. Another option is the cream of the crop in PCCs, the SIG MPX. It's around $2,000. And they don't even make the 8-inch version anymore, which was by far the most practical version. They'll still sell you the 8-inch barrel and handguard kit because of fucking course they will. You could also go for the CMMG radial delayed blowback bolt and barrel upgrade, but still, that's around $500 for just the bolt and barrel. What if we could improve the shooting experience of a blowback AR9 while keeping the weapon as a simple mass delayed blowback? This is what the massive Chad Doug from blowback9.com thought, and he developed a system known as the Gentle Recoil System. Fitting name. It consists of 4 parts, with 1 being optional. A Kinshot hydraulic buffer, 2 2.5-ounce Kinshot buffer weights, and a Just Right Carbine's extended buffer tube to hold all of it. The optional part is a flat wire buffer spring if you hate the sproing noise of shooting an AR. But I'll be honest, I don't understand why it bothers people. When I'm running around on the range shooting drills, the last thing I'm focusing on is the spring noise in my gun. And just to confirm that the flat wire spring was optional, I asked Doug on Reddit, and he confirmed that the flat wire spring's exclusion would not affect function. The key to this setup is that you get both a hydraulic buffer as well as a high reciprocating mass in the gun. High mass slows down the bolt and results in smoother recoil. With just the hydraulic buffer and no extra weights, you lose out on 5 ounces of buffer mass, which makes a significant difference in felt recoil. My setup here is a Foxtrot Mike bolt, which weighs 14.4 ounces. With the 6-ounce hydraulic buffer and 5 ounces of weights, that brings the total mass up to 25.4 ounces. Blowback 9 suggests between 22 and 24 ounces of reciprocating mass for optimal recoil, but going above isn't a bad thing. The result of all this is the softest recoiling straight blowback gun I've ever felt. Let's start with my first configuration of this gun. The barrel is a 5.5-inch Aero Precision EPC barrel with an improved feed cone, an Aero Slick Side upper on a Foxtrot Mike FM9 lower. That on the back is a pistol storage device, by the way, legally distinct from both a brace and a stock. At least until the ATF changes their fucking mind. Originally, I had a 7-ounce buffer with a 14.4-ounce bolt. This had our total at 21.4 ounces. This configuration recoiled violently, but that's par for the course for an AR9. It was difficult to keep double taps on target, even at just 10 yards. The gun was perfectly reliable though, which along with the cheap price is the only advantage I can see to a straight blowback. After 637 rounds, yes, I keep exact track, I swapped in the Kinshot 6-ounce hydraulic buffer. This reduced our buffer mass by 1 ounce, but the hydraulic cushioning effect made up for it. This setup recoiled maybe 10 to 20% less harshly than the previous one, but it was still quite jumpy and difficult to quantify. After 120 more rounds, I got all the parts in and assembled the Gentle Recoil System and gave it a go. I was blown away by how much less snappy the recoil was. The recoil is still there. With a straight blowback, you are still getting the same amount of recoil energy, but the Gentle Recoil System slowed down the recoil impulse significantly. Instead of a quick punch, it's more of a strong push. Much easier to keep on target and much more pleasant to shoot. Now, I can describe how much better the recoil is all fucking day long, but I wanted some data to back up my claims and to actually, quantify it. So, I shot my little carbine course of fire with and without the Gentle Recoil System, and it made a pretty big impact on my score. My carbine score went from 10.0 and 10.6 to 14.1. The way this course of fire is scored is by taking the amount of hits on the small pieces of construction paper and subtracting the amount of seconds to complete the course, divided by 4. I noticed the most improvement when doing double taps from high and low ready, and when doing the 1, 2, 3, 4 drill. Minimized dot movement allowed for quicker and more accurate shots. I've put 660 rounds through the Gentle Recoil System thus far, and I can say it's absolutely worth it. I might even SBR this gun at some point if the lower didn't have occasional issues, but that's a story for another video. Visually, you might not see a huge difference, but trust me, you feel it. So yeah, the Gentle Recoil System does what it's advertised to, and it does it quite well. Now on to some other notes. One issue a lot of people run into with straight blowback guns is that they tend to eat optics due to the violent recoil impulse. At my current total of about 1,500 rounds across all configurations, the SIG Romeo MSR is still hanging on to life, but I've noticed that on lower brightness settings, recoil can cause the dot to flicker. But on max settings, it doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if the Gentle Recoil System extended this optic's life by a few thousand rounds. I'll make an update if the dot dies. On to reliability, one of the few advantages of a straight blowback gun, besides cost, is that they tend to be very reliable. There are no trunnion or barrel extension recesses to get filled with carbon and dirt, preventing the gun from going into battery. That being said, straight blowback guns are filthy, and become fouled much more quickly than delayed or locked actions, even with the Gentle Recoil System. Despite that, I've had no feeding failures of any kind with this gun, which is mostly due to the enhanced feed cone design in the barrel. I have cleaned this gun every few hundred rounds as well, but I imagine it would take an extremely relaxed maintenance cycle to get a gun like this to start choking due to fouling. Now onto suppressor use, I don't have my Obsidian 9 in yet to test the system suppressed, but others who have shot it say it does improve the experience a bit, but straight blowback is still straight blowback. You are more than likely going to get some gas to the face. I have a 9mm CMMG gas deflector port thing on the gun, which reportedly helps reduce gas to the face when running suppressed. I'll check back to see, how much difference that makes when my can gets approved. One cool little note about that product is it's based on the gas deflector on the original Colt 9mm SMG. Neat. On to complaints, really, all I got is that because you need more space for the extended buffer tube, to fit the hydraulic buffer and the weights and everything, it, makes the gun longer. It's extended. So this is definitely not going to be a compact PDW or anything, but I think for the performance increase, the extra length is well worth it. Now on to cost. The Gentle Recoil System costed me $175 plus shipping. But Kinshot, presumably after seeing how many people were building the system out, increased their price of the 9mm heavy hydraulic buffer from $80 to $130, now totaling $225 roundabout to build the system. I would still say that it's a cost-effective way to tame the recoil on a 9mm blowback AR, but that's kind of a scummy move on Kinshot's part. In conclusion, even with the Gentle Recoil System installed, straight blowback still has serious flaws compared to locked systems of various types. That being said, this modification has made the gun significantly more pleasant to shoot, and practical as well. I still don't see any practical situations where a pistol caliber carbine beats out an SBR, except for maybe home defense. Pistol calibers overpenetrate less and are significantly quieter than short barrels firing rifle rounds, especially suppressed. For me, pistol caliber carbines are for training on the range for cheap. I would choose a 10-3 shooting 77 grain OTM in almost every situation over a PCC, but god damn, PCCs are still so much fun, and the Gentle Recoil System significantly improves the experience on an AR9. If you're building an AR 9mm, definitely check out blowback9.com as well. I followed his tips and haven't regretted it. But as always, it doesn't matter what gun or system you have, if you suck. Get out there and train, spend time outdoors, drink water, work on your mental health, and be prepared. Take care.